NFL free agency, man. Arab, so many teams are signing. Just so many guys are just signing with different teams. Some guys are coming back to their teams. And the question is, which free agent splash in the NFL free agency has been the biggest? Boop. So, Ali, let's start off with you. What do you think the biggest signing in NFL free agency has been so far?
Well, it's like I don't know how to feel about this one, but it's been a noteworthy one. Texans signing Brock Osweiler, because I feel like the Broncos organization is now putting more faith into Peyton Manning. They don't have that. The last backup quarterback they have, I think he's like a second year who hasn't really played much as a QB, and then Peyton Manning is getting older and less accurate. So is a question to me, why would you take off Brock Osweiler out of the organization when people thought that he was going to like Peyton Manning's going to pass the torch to him. That'll be like he was going to try and lead the team, or he was going to teach him Brock Osweiler and shape him into a good QB to be for that Broncos organization. Now I feel like they're losing substance for that QB, because Peyton Manning isn't going to last 2-3 more years.
Well, I mean, one of the funny things over break that because we were on break, we didn't even get to address the fact of how with Peyton Manning retiring, him officially retiring, now the Broncos quarterback position is vacant. Without, now that Brock is gone and Peyton is gone now because his retirement, that it's vacant. We didn't even get to talk about it because we were on the break over spring break, and he retired what was it, last Sunday? It was last Sunday or Monday. Okay. I remember our first day of the spring break. We saw the news on there actually. But yeah, so you say Brock Osweiler. Excuse me. Okay, what about you, Rashad?
Can I do like a good, a bad, and the ugly type thing?
Go ahead, go for it.
So the good is the Texans, and the Jaguars actually.
Jaguars,
yeah, I mean, that's when you got money, that's what you can do.
Cap space is a beautiful thing.
So
lovely.
Jaguars definitely helped their defense out. So I say honestly, those three were huge splashes. But the biggest splash was Osweiler and Lamar Miller going to the Texans, which helped the team that had a struggling offense but a great defense develop a great offense, which potentially be a great offense with a premier back and a premier quarterback from what we've seen from 7 games. I mean, it's wait to see. He has DeAndre Hopkins now, so you never know what can happen.
That's true.
The Jaguars strengthened their defense. The offense still intact. Everybody still returned pretty much. So everybody's DTWD, Duval till we die. So Jaguars might be on the come up this year. The bad is the Cleveland Browns.
Oh,
everything is gone. Everybody was like, I'm out of here. Tashawn Gibson, who came to the Jaguars, said he left Cleveland not for the money, but because he was tired of losing.
It's like that.
It's horrible.
He's tired of losing, and he feels like he has a better chance to win in Jacksonville. I mean, of all the teams you could have chose, he even put Jacksonville over Cleveland. That's how you know you're bad.
Honestly,
now.
I mean, yeah,
Jacksonville's on the come up now.
Because Cleveland is just
all those free agent signings. It's looking really. I mean, Jacksonville's really a beautiful place. I mean, we drove past it. The sunshine was beautiful. The sunshine was lovely.
Nice pillars everywhere. Nice city, water everywhere. I love it. I wanted to stay.
Yeah.
Nice. But that's the biggest. And then they waived Johnny Manziel.
They did.
And now they can't even it's so bad because Colin Kaepernick wants to come to Cleveland, but he doesn't want to get rid of his contract.
I don't understand it.
A coach is that powerful, man. A coach can make an impact, man.
It can't. But the problem is the coach hasn't made an impact that they've been able to keep nobody.
They haven't.
You lost your. See this, man. Let me get into
Cleveland Browns organization.
He doesn't want to give up the money, which I completely understand. You don't want to go to a losing organization and take less money.
Yeah, get less.
And the ugly would be the Denver Broncos, man. Losing, not wanting to. Well, I mean.
You lost Brock.
You lost. You only have 9 people returning on your defense, which I mean is decent.
Yeah, that's crazy. You lost CJ Anderson.
You lost CJ Anderson. You lost Malik Jackson. You're looking at it like, wow, you're. I mean, Super Bowl team is gonna break up because people want their money.
Remember how we were talking about that? I remember we said it weeks ago. I was saying that. Remember when Rudy, everybody was here? I said the only reason why I would say Peyton Manning should return at the time
is because everybody will be
back. That same exact team that they could run off the defense,
and they can't. Well, I mean, we. It's not the same defense we see, and they lost just one of the star defensive ends, everything like that.
Yeah.
And their reward for losing everybody is Mark Sanchez. He's the star as of right now. Mark Sanchez is the starting quarterback for that team. That's why it's the ugly.
Y'all remember that fumble that he had one time?
Oh, of course, you never forget the butt fumble.
Oh my
never
God.
forget the butt fumble.
Oh my
But
God.
I can honestly say of that's the good, bad, and ugly. But the biggest splash would be Vernon, Oliver Vernon, with his mega million contract, highest paid defensive end of all time. He went for the money. He got it.
He did. He did.
Biggest splash.
Yeah,
he don't deserve it, but he got it.
You know, me and D Sizzle were thinking the same thing because D Sizzle commented and said Alex Mack took off from the
Browns too. Yeah.
And you know that was actually one of the biggest free agent signings that I had in my list, because one thing we always talk about with the Falcons is, you know, they don't, some of their problems in their offensive line has hindered the Falcons. But now you bring in Alex Mack, and you're telling me Matt Ryan gets more time, and Devontae Freeman gets another block, a Pro Bowl blocker, and that's lethal. You know what I mean? Like, but then also when we look at Miami getting Mario Williams to pair up with Ndamukong Suh, that's crazy.
And talking to Chris Clemens too.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And then I looked at the Cardinals, and they signed Tyvon Branch to help them with this at the safety position. I'm just sitting here looking. I'm like, okay, all these people. It's too many people. I just can't even keep record of all these people, all the money changing hands.
Hey, like, I mean, it's not really a part of free agency, also, but the DeMarco Murray trade to the Titans, and they restructured his contract.
Yeah, and what's it called? And the Giants getting Janoris Jenkins. You know, you help out your secondary, and now you have Janoris Jenkins and Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. You could argue that could be one of the better secondaries. You know, cornerback tandems. Like, it's crazy.
Like So who actually is the biggest splash for you, Brendan? Exactly. What one player? Because I honestly think that Vernon contract was just like, I was like, wow. I mean, he didn't come to the Jaguars because he was like, they ain't give me enough money. He was like, I'm all about the money. And it took the Giants to pay this man Albert Haynesworth type money.
Well, see, I'm gonna read a comment that D Sizzle said. He said, "Doesn't it seem like no matter what the Dolphins do, it results in mediocrity?" And he said, "Wasn't it Greg Jennings and Ndamukong Suh that were the splash last year?" But here's the thing about the Dolphins: they got things. You know, I think after they fired Tony Sperano, they started getting things, you know, going their way after a while. You know, they started getting things going. We started seeing how they started clicking correctly. So, I believe that, you know, with Mario Williams now coming, I mean, he's a former Pro Bowler, and I guess he just didn't work out with the Bills. They had to release him. But you want to tell me that I just can't I can't see a defensive line that if you have them two on it, it's just
that defensive line is gonna be dangerous. But at the same time, you lost your best offensive weapon. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say Ryan Tannehill's the answer for them and Jarvis Landry, but Lamar Miller made an impact too to make it so Ryan Tannehill and Jarvis Landry.
But didn't Chris Ivory go to the Dolphins?
No, Chris Ivory on Jacksonville.
Oh, he went to Jacksonville. Okay.
The Dolphins got I think it's Arian Foster.
I can't remember. I know Matt Forte went to the Jets. Yeah, and I see this. It's so many free agents is changing hands. I can't even keep track of all of it. But if I had to say my biggest free agents, didn't Prince Amukamara go to the Jacksonville?
Jacksonville is set.
Oh yeah.
I had to say the Jacksonville just won as a team.
They as a team. The biggest splash is the Jacksonville signing.
It's all their signing.
We lost out on it. We missed. We didn't get Ayers. We didn't get Vernon. That's the only thing that hurt us.
Because if I had to pick a biggest splash, obviously the most important position is quarterback. So I'm going to say Brock leaving Denver. But as far as the biggest free agent signings, Jacksonville just took everybody. They took away everybody, and they made all these other teams so much worse. Because Prince Amukamara was one of the best defensive players for the Giants.
When he was healthy.
Yeah, when he was healthy. You take him away from them now. I mean, they did get Janoris Jenkins, so that's a pretty nice consolation prize. And I mean, you sign all these different guys, and it's just like I don't even know.
I was torn between this free agency. Like, I was happy seeing Jacksonville get all these people. You know, I like me from Jacksonville now.
Yeah.
But the Cowboys, man, I'm just waiting for the Cowboys to
sign. Y'all re-signed Morris.
Yeah, we re-signed everybody, but we didn't bring in nobody new really.
Y'all brought in a new defensive end, didn't y'all?
Thornton.
Yeah.
But other than I mean, it's not what we needed. It's not what we needed.
Brophy said Ivory to the Jacks. $6 million a year. Come on, man. Come on, man.
I mean, hey,
Jacksonville came through in this free agency.
I mean, they just signing everybody that's been available,
and they still got, and they're crazy. They still got like crazy money.
But you know the crazy thing is, I wonder why Ryan Fitzpatrick hasn't gotten a contract when my man Matt Flynn got a contract for playing one good game.
Because
Ryan Tannehill got a contract.
Ryan Fitzpatrick wants the money.
Yeah,
and the teams don't want to pay him the money right now.
In this market, you can argue that a lot of these quarterbacks have gotten the money, and Brock Osweiler got the money.
That's the mark now. Nobody wants to pay people what Texans just paid Brock Osweiler, and that's what Ryan he's like, well, I mean, you saw what I did this year. Brandon Marshall wants me back too, and you're not gonna pay me the money they're paying him. So it's like it's hurting. He's gonna get signed. More likely, I think it's gonna probably be if he doesn't get picked up by the Jets. Look at the Rams.
What about Denver?
Look at Denver.
Well, yeah.
Denver. I feel like Denver's going to the draft now.
I don't even know what
because they don't have the reason because Ryan Fitzpatrick wants the money Osweiler wanted. The Broncos didn't want to pay that money to Osweiler. They're not going to want to pay it to Fitzpatrick, especially he's aging as well. So I feel like they're just going to try to go for the draft or tough it out with Sanchez.
So that's in the draft. They won the Super Bowl.
You're right.
Who are you going to get in the draft?
Nobody.
But if you think about it, the way the quarterbacks has been going around, it's not no teams don't really need the quarterback anymore. Especially if Kaepernick goes to the Browns. There's really no the quarterbacks who went from the top 5 picks are now not even looking at quarterbacks no more.
Well, I mean, the Browns still need a quarterback.
Yeah. But I'm saying if Kaepernick goes to the Browns, they're not gonna waste that pick on a quarterback no more. They're gonna pick it on. No, they're not. They're not going to. They lost their best receiving weapon. They lost their best safety. They lost their best center. They've lost everything. They need something else other than a quarterback if they're going to bring in Colin Kaepernick. The Rams is the only team, honestly, right, that's going to need a quarterback. If Fitzpatrick doesn't sign with the Jets, you can see him going to the Rams. So technically, the Broncos have the chance to get one of these quarterbacks who was saying at the beginning of the year was going to be top.
But you don't think people don't pick a quarterback even just
they're going to take
not with their first pick.
I know not with their first pick, but some people will pick a quarterback. Just like people were saying that the Cowboys might pick a quarterback. You already have Tony Romo, but people were saying the Cowboys might just pick a quarterback just to have one on the roster.
But this is the thing. People are starting to be worried because think about it. The Cowboys now, everybody said Jerry Jones and Jason Garrett said Romo's 3 or 4 more years, right?
Yeah,
quarterback. They're not going to sign a quarterback with that first pick anymore because they saw what Brock Osweiler just did. He went through his whole rookie contract being behind Peyton Manning, didn't play at all really. So now he's like, all right, well, I'm free on a contract. I'm going somewhere else where I can play.
Yeah.
So I feel like what he just did set fear into everybody. If you're not going to start him right away, they're going to snag him away from me when his contract ends.
But I mean, it would be good to have like a QB behind Tony Romo, just to teach him the way that the Cowboys.
That's the thing for me. It's not even about Tony Romo. It's just the fact that teams. I don't know if teams will just pass up on picking quarterbacks because quarterbacks is such an important position. I mean, this isn't exactly the plethora of quarterbacks that you're looking at in this draft, but I mean, there are some quarterbacks you could be like, this might turn out to be some good. So people might pick him just because they feel like, oh, he's still available on the board. Maybe I should take him. Like I understand what you're saying about number 2 pick picking a quarterback, number 1, number 2 pick picking a quarterback. I don't know about that, but I can still see somebody possibly taking a quarterback just because of the fact that it's just the chance to get the quarterback. And like D Sizzle just commented, he said the Browns could have the first 30 picks and they'll still be crappy.
Oh, come on.
I mean,
that's tragic. And then
I agree with him because you look at this draft class.
Brophy said Fitzpatrick will start somewhere next year. The dude just figured out how to be a utility quarterback. It's crazy. But yeah, he's right. But yeah, go on what you saying.
I mean, you do sign those 30 players in the draft. I mean, a bunch of rookies ain't gonna help you win. It's Cleveland.
I mean, it's Cleveland. So that's the thing. I don't understand how that organization has just become.
It's just like the 76ers. They're the 76ers of the NFL. And Fitzpatrick will play somewhere. I honestly think Fitzpatrick will be, of course, a starting quarterback somewhere. But not for the money he's asking for, which is, I mean, you can see that with him.
Nah, he's definitely.
I mean, they're talking to RG3, who has no resume no more. After his injury, he has no resume, and they're talking.
RG3's living off his rookie season.
Exactly.
That's honestly what it is. He's living off his rookie season.
So, like, you're looking at it like, yeah, he showed up good at the Jets, but Brandon Marshall doesn't want him. Like, if you're telling me your star receiver saying, if you don't bring him back, I'm pretty much leaving when my contract's over with. And you're not going to bring him back, something's wrong with you as an organization.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Who knows, man? Who knows? NFL free agency, this gets crazy. Free agency in general, this gets crazy. The NFL free agency has been crazy. The NBA free agency might get crazy this summer. Who knows?
Chris Long, come on to the Jacksonville. We need a defensive end. We're here for you.
Apparently, y'all looking at James Laurinaitis too. But
hey, we'll take everybody.
But
I mean, I don't think we need James Laurinaitis, but that's it.
Middle linebacker.
Paul Podolski.
Yeah, that's true. But guys, it's gonna wrap it up for today's show. It's been KBR Sports, the best sports talk show every 24-hour a day, coming to you on WODU Studios, the best in college radio. check us out on Rabble TV, like so many kind people have today, which appreciate the support. Listen to us on Spreaker and iTunes. You can listen to our podcast on there. And also subscribe to the KBR Sports YouTube channel where you can see our past shows and past segments, just like all the other media outlets I just listed. And also tweet us at our KBR Sports Twitter page at KBR_sports. And we'll read your comments live next show. And we'll also take into account some of your comments for the next show.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you want to join in on the debate for next show, the number to call in is 757-683-4405. So y'all can join in on debate with us and give us some of your thoughts and opinions if you want your voice to be heard. All right, y'all have a great day.
We out.